So we're gonna get started, and as part of getting started, I wanted to make a few announcements and then do our daily retrospective. Ladies and gentlemen, some people I understand will be leaving today, and I want to note that the TAs are available to call taxis for you and watch out for taxis so that you can stay in the classroom, and they'll let you know when the taxi's available. Also, if you'd like any of them to take your bags, we could watch bags in a protected area, so you wouldn't have to worry about them in the course of the day. I'm sorry? So please do keep the TAs in mind. They're glad to help out in any of these regards. We're going to have a guest lecture back again in the faculty club this morning, or at noon. So while we ate here yesterday, in case anyone steps out later, the lunch will be served over at the faculty club tomorrow rather than within here in this room. Okay. Now, are there any questions about logistics? Some people asked about what's going to be on the docket for tomorrow. What's going to be on the docket for tomorrow is it's predominantly going to be a session to work through the day on projects. Now, if I'm asked to deliver some content that I couldn't deliver in the course of the week, in the course of the normal lectures, I'd be happy to do so. Example topics, which I was hoping to get to, but where it's looking not so likely unless someone says, I really, really, really want to hear about this, would be building a hierarchical model, a multi-level model of, say, people and neighborhoods and cities and regions, something along those lines, where you have this multi-level nested structure with different dynamics playing out at each level and potentially different types of processes. I also haven't had time to talk about how big data and modeling can work together to add extra degrees of insight, can synergize to provide really exceptional combination of grounded insight for choices to be made.
Are you working with Google yet?
No, we're not working with Google.
They have one.
We're using their technologies quite extensively, but for example, their GIS-related technologies we've made use of. Their Android is a central component of our ubiquitous data collection systems, our smartphone-based data.
I sent you, I think, at one point an article where we were getting big into the analysis of health data.
Yeah. So it's interesting. They have some work going on, much of it that I don't know about. What I do, there's been some controversy, like the whole Google flu trends thing, which was really sort of considered cutting edge and potentially open up huge avenues. People realized that it actually had some real issues with being used reliably for insight, and so they seem to have sort of taken a step back from that avenue. But I think there's huge opportunities in other areas, and I think they're doing very impressive work. A lot of it is related to data mining, and they have some very, very good work going on there. And that's a whole topic that links in with our work combining electronic data sources, particularly smartphone-based data, but potentially other sources as well, with these sort of models. So I don't have time to go into that, nor have I had time to sort of talk more broadly on a number of frontiers in the modeling space that I see as really promising. Things like richly building in decision-making, a representation of decision-making, use of predictor-corrector models to to allow your model to sort of anticipate what's coming, and then to combine that with rich data, and incorporation of dynamics associated with relationships, et cetera. These are all rich topics that I'm not going to be able to go into, and if there are interest tomorrow, I could extemporize, or actually I have a bunch of slides on numbers of these that I could give a talk. But the main focus for tomorrow, if I were to give a talk tomorrow, I'd probably give it in the tutorial room down there, so that those who wanted to come could come listen to it. But the bulk of the work will be TAs and myself working with projects to advance them materially in the course of the day. Okay, so that's what's on the schedule for tomorrow, and that will be in this room, and we'll be having lunch here as well. It's an all-day thing. Yes, Robin.
Will we get to hear from any of the other projects, or is that going to be special?
Yes, we'll see if projects would feel comfortable giving a bit of an overview of their work this afternoon. Yep, and giving a glimpse of that. Some people will be there tomorrow, some people won't be, and so I'm hesitant to relegate it to tomorrow, because I think for the people leaving tonight, of which there are a substantive number, they won't get a chance to get a glimpse of what people have done, which I think would be of interest to many people. Okay? So, yeah, any other questions before we get started here? Okay. So those are some logistics